Well, joining me now is National Senator Matt Canavan. It is good to see you, Matt. Thanks for joining us. Are those the three areas? Are they the official demands to move forward with an agreement this week?
Nice try, Kenny, but sorry, mate, I'm not going to sort of reveal hands on national TV when you're in discussions with somebody about getting a deal. Obviously, what David Littleproud is doing and all of our Nationals members will always do is fight for the interests of the people we represent. So, look, this is not about really ourselves. This is about making sure we get good outcomes in the long term for the Australian people. Obviously, we've had a very disappointing loss, and we're going to be at least a few years away from being able to implement these policies. But our sights are very much set on those long-term results for the people we represent. Those areas you mentioned are obviously very close to the heart of many of my Nationals Party colleagues and myself. We've fought long and hard for protections for farmers and small businesses against larger businesses, especially in the retail space. We do think we need to use all our energy resources, and including our uranium and nuclear energy resources. Let's get that cracking. And we have had some really important wins, if you like, or policy outcomes recently with trying to get investment into regional areas. I think we need to grow our country, not just in our major cities, if nothing else, to take the pressure off those people who live in the major cities. So, look, that benefits all Australians, and I will leave it up to David, to our leader, to get a good outcome for everybody. But I won't be making any comments about those negotiations publicly.
Well, in your opinion, would you like to see powers to break up supermarkets as part of the agreement?
Again, I'm not making any comments about the agreement per se. I'll leave that to negotiations, but happy to talk about that particular issue. I'm long on the record wanting to see greater protections. Those break-up powers, so to speak, exist in almost every other country's, especially certainly developed countries' competition laws. Seems strange that we're an outlier here in Australia where we don't have those laws, particularly given we have one of the most concentrated retail and other markets in the world. Many of our markets, airlines, telecommunications, banking, and of course retail, are dominated by just a few players, and that gives them a substantial market power. We've seen lots of abuses of that market power in the past decade, but the fines and penalties that they're subject to are paltry at best, and so we shouldn't be surprised if we see the behaviour continue.
Would you consider not committing to 7 government-owned nuclear reactors and just lift the ban on nuclear and let private companies invest in it if they want to, as your leader David Littleproud has suggested he may be open to? Would that be enough for you?
Look, I just want to see good outcomes. Obviously, the specific policies we took the election will need adjustments. There'll be another few years, obviously, of developments in energy markets. We'll have to evaluate all of those things. So, look, if you're asking, am I wedded to building 7 government-owned nuclear power stations? Will I die in a ditch over that? Absolutely not. Of course not. I want to see a good outcome. I don't really care how that is done. I do think we should use all our energy resources. I absolutely believe the ban on nuclear power stations is outdated and out of step. And it was never even implemented in a very good way. It was effectively less than half an hour debate in the Senate in 1998, and we ended up with a ban on nuclear power. It never went to an election. Keep in mind, Kenny, the Australian people have never voted to ban nuclear energy in Australia. Never. That ban was implemented mid-term in 1998 with a Senate backroom deal to build a second nuclear reactor at Lucas Heights. The great irony is we've ended up with a nuclear ban because we had to build a nuclear reactor in Sydney to produce nuclear medicines. And that ban never went to the Australian people, was never voted on. It is completely illogical, especially for a country that has the world's largest uranium reserves and exports those uranium reserves to other countries. So why do we have it here? It makes no sense. I had a bill in the last parliament to remove that ban. Pretty sure I'll reintroduce that bill when we get back. I'll give it another crack.
Matt Canavan, appreciate your time this morning. Hope to speak to you again soon.